Your business needs AI solutions that are not only ambitious, but also practical and adaptable. That's where Domo's AI and data products platform comes in. With Domo, you can channel AI and data into innovative uses that deliver measurable impact. Secure AI agents connect, prepare, and automate your data workflows, helping you gain insights, receive alerts, and act with ease through guided apps tailored to your role. Domo is built to meet the challenges of today's AI landscape with a robust, all-in-one platform powered by trust, flexibility, and years of expertise in data and AI innovation. Data is hard. Domo is easy. Learn how Domo can help you unlock your data's full potential at ai.domo.com. That's ai.domo.com.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Okay, we've got a special show for you today. You might recall we did a show previously with Tony Spurl, the private investigator, and he was discussing his friendship with Bill Mentzer, who's in prison right now, convicted of murdering Roy Radin. And Roy Radin is we did a couple shows about the Cotton Club murders with Robert Evans and Laney Jacobs and all this cast of characters. So today we have with us Kathleen Dearinger. Or is that Dearinger? Dearinger. Kathleen Dearinger. Kathleen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So Kathleen had dated Bill Mentzer, so she has some inside information she wants to share with us.
Yes.
So, Kathleen, before we get started, why don't you tell us about yourself? Who is Kathleen Dearinger? Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, what can I tell you? I own a mini storage facility. I'm in Northern California. I'm selling it. And what can I tell you? Real estate investor. I have a daughter. I grew up in Beverly Hills and also in Chatsworth. And that's about it.
Okay, you got a storage place up there where?
In Mount Shasta.
And you're looking to sell it?
I actually am signing a contract today. So,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Then it's almost sold. Okay, great.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I'm going to go see Bill. I'm going to go visit him.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, did you find out where he's imprisoned?
I believe he has been transferred to a low security, low risk prison in Lancaster, but I need to verify that.
Okay.
So, and it's been many years, and I really owe this to him.
Well, have you been in touch with Tony about this?
I did talk to Tony, yeah, and he answered some questions that I had, because I believe he's been in touch with Bill.
Yeah,
so,
he's in constant contact with Bill Mentzer.
Yeah, it was very interesting, because I did not know the details about the Radin murder, and I've learned that since then from Tony.
Okay.
So.
Well, then give us an idea. Now, how did you meet Bill? How old were you when you met him?
Okay. I met Bill through Terry. We dated between 1982 to 1984. And this is during the time of both these murders. And so I can tell you, it was like on and off with him, but it was definitely during that time. Now, the one murder that he supposedly pled guilty to, I know that he was not guilty because I was with Bill in Palm Springs at this swanky resort when that happened. So I don't know why he pled. He did call me. He wrote me letters. He asked for me to testify, and I didn't. At the time, I asked him, I said, please, Bill, do not give him my name. I didn't want to be wrapped up in this whole mess. I was very young. I was, 20 years old. I was getting ready to be a flight attendant at that time, and I just didn't want to be involved. And he respected my wishes, and he took the rap for it. And so I really feel that I owe that, at least to speak out, because all these years, I have else crap on the internet about him.
Oh, no, wait. We'll get to all that. We'll get to all that. We have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so you were 20 years old when you met Bill Mentzer. How old was he?
He was 13 or 14 years older.
Okay, so he was about 32, 33.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was quite the guy.
Well, 20 years old, any guy pretty much seems like quite the guy.
No, but Bill will always stay in my memory. He was extra special.
Okay, very nice. Now, you know what? I tell you, you might be interested to hear this. But, I'm a private investigator, and we do a lot of locates. People want to locate their long-lost love,
Uh-huh.
And you know what? Those things usually work out, I hate to tell you.
Well, unfortunately, I think he's going to be serving life prison. So.
Yeah, but I know. You can still rekindle some kind of relationship, Because usually what I find is when you're looking for a long-lost loved one or maybe like an adoptive parent or something, if you're thinking about them with good thoughts, they're usually thinking about you with good thoughts as well. And people are hesitant to contact them. They think, oh, this person doesn't want to hear from me. But usually if you're thinking good about them, they're thinking good about you too.
Good.
So that's usually a rule of thumb.
Right.
Now, okay, so you were 20 years old. How'd you meet this guy?
Through my girlfriend, Terry.
Okay.
So she introduced me, and that's how it started.
Well, like how? Like at a party or something?
Oh, I can't remember. I really don't remember where we met.
Okay, so you met, and what was your relationship like? What was your first date like?
Well, I mean, he was just very nice, very quiet. He's a man of few words. Very mellow man, very mellow. That's what I remember the most about him. Very calm. He was a Marine, so he was just a really nice guy. Not at all what I'm reading. Okay,
so now you were with him between 82 and 84.
Right.
What did he tell you he was doing for a living?
Well, I know he was a bodyguard, and he would do like the celebrity parties. He would guard the doors. He had some high-profile clients.
And did he talk about his clients?
Sometimes, a couple times, like we would go to visit some of his friends. He was very much into health, so a lot of his friends were like bodybuilders. Like we went to Jack LaLanne's house once, and this other guy, I can't remember his name, but that's the two people that I've met through him.
Okay, so then what'd you think when you met Jack LaLanne?
Oh, very nice man, very nice.
Did he make you do any jumping jacks or anything like that?
No.
Because I remember when I was...
we talked about the juicer.
Okay, right, that's right. Later on, he was doing the juicer.
Bill was one of those, health nuts, and he would work out with him. So, yeah.
Yeah, right, because later on, Jack LaLanne had the first juicer, okay? Mm-hmm. But when I was a little kid, he had that TV show where he would do exercises for housewives, is what they used to call it back in those days. And I remember my mom, doing the exercises along with Jack. I would do it too, I was like 4 or 5 years old, I guess.
Right.
It's okay. So you went to Jack LaLanne's house, you, Bill, and Jack LaLanne. Did you meet Jack LaLanne's wife or,
Mm-mm. No, she wasn't there. And it was just, we didn't stay very long. I only met him one time. So...
Okay, and he was also involved with a bunch... No, what was he? He was doing bodybuilding. But, he was doing bodyguarding. But now, for a period of time, too, he was involved in restaurants and stuff, wasn't he? He was like a restaurant manager?
I don't know about that. When I knew him, he was working for a security agency. And it was mostly for the celebrities, A-listers. That's what I recalled. If he had another job, I didn't know about it.
Okay, was this around the same time he was working for Larry Flint?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah, because I remember that. Yeah, he was always over there.
Okay, well then give me an idea. What kind of celebrities did he mention working for?
Well, I don't. Until I talked to Bill, I really don't know what his thought about releasing those names. So I would rather not mention, anybody's names. If that's okay.
So it's okay with me. I'm just taking your statement. Okay. Okay.
I would rather not.
You're not under oath. Don't worry. You're not under oath. Okay.
I know one thing. He was really private about that, and that was really important to him because I guess he was very well respected, and one reason is entrusted because he never revealed anything about the celebrities' lives or anything, and so that was one thing that I know that he always stressed to me. So I have to be very careful about that because I just don't want him to be upset with me. So, but I can tell you about the person he is, and what I know of him, and some of the things that I've read. I can confirm what's real and what's not real.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Now the thing is, have you tried Googling his name to find out where he's in prison? Because I know for a while he had a pen pal. He had a pen pal thing going on where he was looking for pen pals.
Yeah. When I pulled up, first of all, Bill told me about these two books, okay? He's the one that told me about them, and I went and read the books, and I couldn't believe the stuff that was in there. The first book especially. Not true.
Okay.
There was none of it true.
Well, then when...
the thing is neither... And nothing against Steve Wick, and I think Maury Terry's not around any longer, but the fact is neither one of them ever talked to Bill or ever met Bill. And my question is, how would that book have turned out? If they had met him, I don't think that they would have written what they wrote at all, because the things that are on the Internet don't, first of all, make sense. And I can go through that categorically, what I've read online and what he's been accused of. And if people even took the time to put the pieces together, they could see quite clearly that there's no relation at all. It was impossible.
Well, then let me ask you a question.
8 pages of notes here of all the stuff that I found online and how I put it all together, where Bill was at the time and how he couldn't have possibly have been what's being claimed online.
Okay, now, when's the last time you talked to Bill?
Well, it's been many years since he wrote me letters. He called me when he first went to jail. He asked me to testify, and he sent me the love letters. I've thrown them out since then, and I feel bad, but that was it. He kept me out of it. And
so then the last time you talked to him was...
He kept his word.
85?
That's the kind of guy he was.
So 1985, 1986, that's the last time you talked to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But he told you about the book?
Yes, he did. I'm not sure when the books were published. We spoke a couple times, by the way. When he first went to jail, he's called me collect a lot of times, different times, okay? When he first was getting convicted, he wanted me to testify.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Okay, so, and then the books came out, and he called me collect, told me about the book. So I'm not sure what those dates were exactly.
And then what exactly did he have to say about the books?
He just told me about it, and he said, bunch of BS. And I said, yeah. That's about it.
Okay. Now there were 2 murders, okay? And I believe the first one was the prostitute, the 300-pound black transvestite prostitute escort service.
Is that the first? The first one?
I'm not sure which one is first.
I thought that was the second one. I thought Radin was the first, the prostitute was the second.
Okay. So now you were with them for which one? For
Okay, the prostitute one.
Okay.
That's when we were in Palm Springs. Yeah, and I know that for a fact because I just turned 21. Okay, and so, yeah.
Okay.
Because he took me out. We went out drinking and had a great time, so I had to have had my ID. So that's how I knew it was that one.
Okay. Now, you've looked up the details of this prostitute murder.
What do you mean by the details?
Yeah, like you've read about it online, right?
I read something about there was this millionaire that had contacted, I guess, the agency that Bill had worked for, and ordered that for this transvestite to be killed. So, and I believe Alex Marty was involved in that murder. I don't know. I guess Bill got charged. I don't know how his name got drug into it. If maybe Marty was trying to accuse him, I don't know. All I know is Bill was not there.
Okay, so he's contacted you from jail, I guess a waiting trial, trying to get you to testify to be his alibi witness.
Correct.
Now, he has all kinds of resources, okay? I believe he has family, it's a LAPD, he knows many private investigators. He never had someone contact you in person, come knock on your door and say, hey, we need a statement from you?
No, because I asked him to keep me out of it, and he respected that. I asked him, please don't give my name. I don't want to get involved, and that's about it. And he kept his word.
Okay, now, around that story, too, there were some bodybuilders involved in that, too, as well. Some other bodybuilders that were involved in that murder.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, you didn't know that, okay?
Mm-mm.
Now, what about this? Something that's always struck me really odd with that murder is because the story is that young millionaire, somehow he got mixed up with this 300-pound black prostitute escort service transvestite.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a transvestite, right?
Yeah, Mr. Cavallari hires the agency, but then
Right.
I don't understand why he's not guilty of anything. It doesn't make any sense.
That's a good question, too.
Yeah.
But now the thing is,
when you have money, right?
yeah. Now I guess there was some kind of extortion, blackmail thing kind of going on, which is very common with escort services, where they start blackmailing the clients.
Right.
And this transvestite was calling him up like 300 times in an hour.
Right. I heard about that. Yeah.
Now, one thing that's always struck me out about that story is that it's in the police report that the transvestite would call this guy Calavari 25 times in a row, and then call the Vatican.
Right.
And talk on the phone with the Vatican for 20 minutes and then go back to calling up this guy. Now,
Yeah, I've read about that.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I can't make sense of that. You know, I've thought about that, and I can't put that piece together. I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Okay. And you never talked to Bill about that, of course.
No.
Okay.
No. You know, it was an on and off thing, you know, that we saw each other. So, you know, I don't know what he was doing in the off time. I had another guy that I was dating in between. So this is, you know, it's not like the whole 2 years we were together, but I do believe that I know that on that one during that Jim Mentzer, I know that he did not do that one. As far as when the Radin murder occurred, I don't remember. I really don't. If I know that I was seeing him during that time, but I'm not sure that year, but I'm not sure. It was like an on and off thing with him and I.
Okay, but he was also living with Lainey Jacobs.
Yes, for a while, yes.
Okay, then so did you ever meet her?
I have never met her.
Did you ever know about her?
Yeah, there was a little conflict with him and I because of her, yeah.
So you knew the name. What name did you know her by at the time?
By her name.
Lainey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard about her, but, you know, no, her name never came up. No, there was some other girl. I didn't know what her name was. I had assumed that it was Lainey, but I don't know. I don't know if she's his type. You know, I thought about that. He likes short, cute blondes, and she doesn't quite fit that picture. So I don't know. You know,
I've seen her with
girl, and I don't know who she was. So I can leave it at that.
I've seen her with blonde hair.
Yeah.
Now, did you know anything about him dating someone that was heavily involved in cocaine, and drug dealing, and smuggling?
You know, that's another thing. No, he was not into drugs at all. He was all health nut. Never seen drugs at his house. I have met Alex Marty at his house a couple times. But, I mean, I've never saw any indication of drugs. So that was kind of strange also. So it would seem that if he was involved with her, he would be into cocaine, and I never saw any of that.
Well, no, not necessarily. You don't have to use cocaine to be selling it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Alex Marty, you've been to his house?
He was at Bill's house once.
Okay. He was
Yeah.
at Bill's house. Okay, so then when you met him, what was he like?
This is many years ago. Cordial. Hi, see ya. You know,
Okay.
just real, you know.
You didn't kill anybody in front of you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I
Okay.
didn't know him, so I just saw him. But when I saw the pictures, I met him. I recognized his face. I've heard stories that he didn't like Jews, and he's talked about how he couldn't wait to kill a Jew. I did hear that, you know. And I can't remember who told me that. Bill mentioned something about him hating Jews, but there was something to do with that. And this was a question I had always had about the Radin murder. You know, because it didn't make sense. The crime scene just doesn't match Bill at all. You know, Bill was highly trained with weapons. He with M16s, and that crime scene was way too messy. You know?
How do you know he was trained with M16s?
Because he was in the Marines.
Okay.
He told me, I knew his training. He did the rescue with the helicopters and stuff in the Vietnam. I think he went in when he was like 16 or something.
Did he mention anything about Project Phoenix?
No.
The Phoenix program?
No.
Okay.
No, he did rescues.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, it had something to do with helicopters.
Okay. Now, what kind of weapons did he have?
Well, I think he looked at M16. I remember that.
So you've seen
And
him.
he was a very good shot. He was a marksmith. He was very good.
So you've seen him with an M16.
Yeah.
Have you seen him with any other long rifles, automatic weapons?
He had a lot of guns. He liked his guns. He did target practice on regular occasion.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
all right. So how big was his gun collection?
Good. It's arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about like his mother, his brother, his sisters, any of them? Do you know any of them?
No. Mm-mm.
Do you know if he had any?
I really don't. I want to say that he may have a brother, but I'm not sure. He was a man of few words. He was the kind of person that he didn't give up information. He was very quiet about his life and what he did, and he had to because of his line of work. So, he didn't like to tell me. He let me in on some things, of course, some of the parties I got to go to, but he was very, very private, and he really respected their privacy.
Okay, so then, if it was very private and he wasn't really letting you in on the inner details of his life,
mm-hmm.
How can you be so sure that he wasn't involved in all these accusations that's in the mortuary book?
Okay, because I made a list all the stuff that, for example, let me look at my notes here, like the Zodiac Killer. Okay.
Well, wait, let's not worry about the Zodiac Killer.
All right. In which case, they were trying to bring him into like the Arliss Perry murder, and when I put all the pieces together, I can discount those categorically.
Oh, okay.
The claims of being Manson.
No, wait, hold on. Let's just start with the Zodiac thing. That I'm pretty sure that he's been, it's been commonly agreed upon that he wasn't the Zodiac. But now,
right.
Arliss Perry, he was placed on at the scene there by David Berkowitz.
And they said that a man had gone there the day before, short curly hair. Bill had dark hair and a mustache, and wouldn't have fit that. And not only that, Bill was very good looking. Okay, and he was always at Larry Flint's place. I'm sure that he must have dated centerfolds. There's no way he would have had to rape any woman or even do what that's just not Bill. He was a very nice person. He got wrapped up into this whole mess, I believe, because he didn't want to give up people's names, and I think he felt safer to go to prison. He probably would have pleaded guilty to 10 murders to stay there, to stay safe, is my belief, because there were some very powerful people on the outside, and he probably would never live if he were set free.
Okay, then who do you think these powerful people were that were so powerful that he would be afraid of them, considering the background that he had and all the guys he could round up? And I believe he has law enforcement background in his family.
Well, one of them is still alive, and I know that Bill's writing a book, and I have a feeling, and this is what I want to talk to him about, is maybe he might be waiting for the right time. This person is much older now, and maybe in a couple of years the book can be released. But I'd like to first confirm with Bill who this person is. I think it's no secret of who Lanny Jacobs was involved with in making the film, right?
Right.
Okay, and so certainly I think you can figure out who I'm talking about.
Okay,
right?
How do you know he's writing a book?
Because Tony told me. Bill said he's writing a book.
When did you get in touch with Tony?
I talked to him a week ago.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to read it. Bill has not granted any interviews, hasn't spoken out, because that's the kind of guy he is. And I think that's the only reason that all these ridiculous allegations and things were told, because he's just very quiet and private, and when the time's right, the truth will come out. But I will tell you what Tony has found out and what Bill told him, and I don't know if this was mentioned on the show, but apparently there was 9 bodyguards involved in the Radin murder, 9 of them. Then they all worked for Larry Flint. Any one of them could have pulled that trigger.
Okay, now, what did...
you know where the gun came from, right?
One second. Yeah, I know about that, yeah. But it came from the brother-in-law.
Bill Ryder.
Right. Who got a great deal, too. He got not only didn't get convicted of anything, but he was a paid informant and got paid for his role in all this. And actually, he provided the gun, I believe, in both the murders. So,
yeah.
Amazing, that the guy got a great deal.
Amazing. kidding.
Got a great deal.
I don't think Bill got offered the same protective custody offer. You see, they couldn't offer it to both of them, right? So Bill was screwed.
Okay.
You know, and the prints were all wiped clean. Gee, I wonder why. And it wasn't turned over for a year later. Mm-hmm. You know, poor Bill. He got a bad deal.
Well, yeah, a lot of guys get bad deals now.
Yeah.
But now he did have a. Now, what do you also discount Roy Radin's involvement with the Process Church in New York and Son of Sam murders and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. No, I doubt it. Yeah.
Oh.
And the same thing with Berkowitz. Yeah, what would he have in common with Bill? They're working. One's in Brooklyn and the other's in L.A. So no connection whatsoever. What I think is he was just playing with people. He probably read the book and said, "Yeah, here, go look at Bill Mentzer for this." There's no connection whatsoever. He's toying with him.
Well, he was the source for the book, so he couldn't have read the book. But now, so you don't even believe that Roy Radin was involved in any kind of Satanism or any kind of cult activity and all this other stuff?
I didn't see any indication of that, and I didn't. If during the 2 years that I knew Bill, if he was involved in any of that, I would have seen it.
No, not Bill, because Bill murdered Roy Radin. He's convicted of that.
Right.
Okay, but now you don't even believe that Roy Radin had any involvement in the occult.
I don't know anything about Mr. Radin.
Okay.
All I can tell you is what I know of Bill. Okay, but I mean, if you want a personal opinion, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What I read, I don't know anything about the guy other than what I've read. You know,
Let me ask you this, because the picture's no longer on the internet. Okay, but I have seen with my own eyes a picture of Bill Mentzer holding a machine gun in a room with a pentagram behind him. Yeah,
probably just playing around. I don't think it was anything serious. Or maybe somebody doctored the photo. Who knows? Well, you know, it's just probably joking around. I don't think that's anything to be taken seriously.
Okay.
I know he wasn't involved in Satanism. I can tell you that.
How can you? Okay, then what were his religious beliefs?
Well, I think he was a Christian. At some point, I think he went to church. You know, I don't.
You think he went to church?
When he was younger, you know.
Okay. Because he had no problems killing people.
What's that?
He had no problems killing people.
Well, I don't know that he did. You know, there's nothing linking him to either crime, except he was at one crime scene. One. And 9 other guys there. I seriously doubt. I mean, this was an overkill. Okay, let me tell you something. When I look at that whole situation, it's too messy. If Bill had done it, he was a sharpshooter. It would have been one shot and real clean. Bill wouldn't have made a mess like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't fit his personality. It just doesn't fit.
Okay.
You know, I know Alex was the hothead who hated Jews. And there's a big Jewish guy. Okay, so here's my, so is it what, 1 or 2 guys are taking shots at him and what, 6 are standing around? It's just the pieces don't fit. Unless each of them took the gun and shot the guy 3 times. It was just, why so many times? And so I can't figure that one out.
Okay, now he gets arrested for this crime, right? For the murder of Roy Radin, right? And now, so how soon after he was in jail did he start calling you and tell you what happened?
I think it was right away because he wanted me to testify. Yeah.
Okay, and then what was your reason for not wanting to get involved and help him?
Because I was going to be a flight attendant. I didn't want to be drug into a murder trial. I was getting ready to move to Fresno, and it would keep me there. You know, and I didn't want to get. I was young. I was very young. You know.
Right. You were about 21, right?
Yeah, I was just young and didn't want to get involved because we broke up by then.
Okay, between the time you had last seen him and the time he went to jail, he got arrested, how much time spanned between there?
You know, I've been trying to think, and I cannot for the life of me remember, but it must have been during the trial because he wanted me to testify. So, I couldn't tell you the dates. You know, I don't remember.
Okay,
I think it was a couple years later, though. It seems like it was a couple years after that murder happened. Like maybe 1988 or something. I don't know. I'm going to just guess.
Okay. Now, you were saying like this was a very impressionable romance in your life, right? Mm-hmm. Did you save any kind of pictures or letters from Bill?
No, I threw them away.
Okay.
He sent a couple letters. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything?
The handwriting doesn't match the Zodiac Killer. I could verify that.
Okay.
I know what his writing looks like, All
right, whatever.
If I get in touch with him, he'll probably write back to me.
Okay, the whole case, as far as the Zodiac thing, was they took his mugshot and they put some glasses on him, and he looks similar to a sketch. Okay, that's just pretty much the whole Zodiac case. Other than he was a well-known murderer. The guy was a.
Well, they had him incarcerated. This is what gets me. I mean, they could have eliminated him right away, right? Got the DNA. So why was he placed into protective custody so they could put it in the newspapers? And those poor families. I mean, how many people now have been accused of being the Zodiac Killer? And then when you go to the website, his name gets associated with it. He's drug into it, and I think the Zodiac killings, I don't remember. I've got all these notes here, but I don't even think it was anywhere near Bill where Bill was. I made some notes. See, I think he was in the military at that time. I think he was in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And now you were also mentioning too that you had some kind of involvement with Ted Gunderson.
Yeah, I knew Ted.
Okay, how'd you meet Ted?
My friend has this TV show. It's called On Second Thought. William Wagner and Gunderson goes on the show quite a few times. And there was a double murder involving a state senator by the name of Nancy Schaefer. And contact with Ted, because I knew that it was that it had been a hit, basically. And Ted and I were working together quietly to find out the person responsible.
Okay, wait, you're breaking up a little bit, so don't move the phone around too much.
But Gunderson and I were working on identifying the murder of Nancy Schaefer.
Okay, now how did you meet Ted Gunderson?
When I just contacted him, let him know that I was a friend of Mr. Wagner, and told him that I was concerned about this murder involving the senator. And I think I may have read something online that he was also suspecting foul play. So I wanted to call him and let him know what information I knew and what the senator had told me, who was trying to get her out of office, and my suspicions of who was behind the murder. So that is how I got in contact with Ted Gunderson.
And what year was that?
That was just a few years ago.
Okay.
Right before he died, actually. A year before.
All right. Now, how'd you get a hold of... When did you meet Tony Spurl?
I'm sorry?
When did you meet Tony Spurl?
I called him when I don't know how it came up. I saw something, Bill Mentzer. After I started listening to the radio show, and I listened, and I said, this guy knows Mentzer. Because the way he described him, I said, only a person that would know Bill would say these things. I've got to talk to this guy. And he apparently was a private investigator, and I wanted to find out what he knew, because for all these years, it's really bothered me. I know he got charged on 2 murders, but I knew for a fact he wasn't guilty of one, but, could have been guilty on the other one, and I didn't have the details, and I wanted to know, so I called Tony, and that's when he said to me that he's been, I guess, to talk to Bill, and Bill told him about the other 6 guys that were there, and that would only make sense. I mean, knowing the story with Oldie wanting her cocaine, $35 million worth of cocaine, she probably contacted the agency. It's doubtful that they would have known what it was, but she may have said, I need you to get this box back from this man, and she wasn't going to play around. She wanted the job done right. She's not going to just send... This guy's a 300-pound guy. He's got a gun on him, right? I'm talking about Radin.
All right.
She's not going to send 2 guys. Marty was not a big guy, by the way. Okay? I mean, Bill kept in shape, but no. She's not going to only send 2 guys for a 300-pound man. She's going to send an army, and she's going to do it right. And the situation. She goes by herself in the limousine, and Radin gets in, right? And he's having, Desmond Wilson from the Sanford Sun show trail the limo to make sure everything's okay.
Okay, wait. Did you ever meet Damon Wilson?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't involved with Radin, so that was his friends.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Now, one more time. How did you get Tony Spurl's phone number?
He contacted me. I wrote to him and I said, thank you for telling the truth. You're the first person to tell the truth about Bill. And I felt it was about time because of all the stuff that was floating on the internet, you know.
Okay, and how'd you get his contact information? Because you were asking me for his contact information.
He wrote to me and he sent me his number.
Okay.
I called him on Facebook. He befriended me on Facebook. Spurl Investigations. And then we chatted in instant message, and he said, here's my number. I called him.
How did you get Ted Gunderson's? I need Ted Gunderson, too. How did you get Ted Gunderson's contact information?
I can't remember. Probably through Wagner.
Okay.
I guess he's been on his show a couple times.
Okay, so you call Gunderson, you get him on the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did he want any money from you, or he just said, okay, I'll work for you?
Oh, no. We were just talking about, and I was giving him leads, and he was, taking this information in. Him, me, and Wagner were working on the senator's murder. And so, but then later on, when I was looking at all these websites, all of a sudden I noticed Gunderson and I didn't know that Gunderson was investigating the Bill Mentzer case. I wish I knew, because then I would have told Ted what I knew about Bill.
So you met Ted in person?
No, we just spoke on the phone.
On the phone, okay. And was that 310 number?
I can't remember. Okay. I don't know. It was 4 years ago.
Okay. No, very interesting.
But I did hear it. I have to share this with you, by the way. And it's secondhand information. I can't confirm it, but I did hear from a source that his doctor found arson or poison in his blood. It was, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I'm not too sure about that. Now, Let me ask you another question too. Now, at the end, when you met him, right before he died, right? Do you know anything about him still working for the FBI around that time?
Wait, Ted? No, I think Ted was retired. But are you talking about recently, or? Yeah,
like very, very. I don't remember exactly before he died, but I had a client around that time who saw him at the FBI headquarters in California. So now, what do you know about his relationship with the FBI around that time?
I think that if Ted knew information, he would pass it on to the FBI, no doubt.
Okay.
He's very loyal to his work.
Right. So he was still pretty much working for the FBI.
Well, he would be an informant. He would tell them what he knew. Certainly.
Okay. Now, whatever came out with this Senator Schaefer, whatever came out with that.
Unfortunately, I spoke with Wagner last week, and he says he knows who did it. He doesn't want to put it in writing. I'm going to have to talk to him on the phone, prepaid phone or something, because he's very, very paranoid, because this is politically motivated, and those involved were politicians. So we have to be very, very careful about naming names, because the government, this was definitely a murder, a hit, and that person never served justice.
Okay,
so
what was her official cause of death?
I'm sorry? They claim that the husband murdered her.
Okay.
Yeah, right. They were married for 50 years. I was going to meet the senator in Washington, D.C. for a rally. She was giving a very important speech. She was working on a documentary that she was getting ready, and also writing a book. It was in post-production, and boom, she's knocked off. Okay, so somebody didn't want this information to get out. And if anybody wants to Google Senator Schaefer, they will find out the cause that was very close to her heart, the information that she was trying to expose, and I can verify 100% that she is absolutely correct, because I had gone through a very similar situation, and it had happened to me, and she was speaking out, and people really need to know about that. So, but this case is about Mentzer, so.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to get an idea of all the stuff you've been up to. Now, you also mentioned, too, that before we went on the air, you also mentioned, too, that you have some kind of Charles Manson connection yourself?
I had to laugh when I read this stuff. Manson, too. I have more of a connection to Manson.
Okay, but do you know when they say that when they call him Manson, too, it's not because he was part of the Manson family. It's because he was just as bad of a killer as Manson.
Oh, God, no, gosh, no. There's no connection whatsoever. Bill was...
No, no one claims he had a connection with Manson.
Right, I got you.
Yeah.
But they weren't even the same type of person, you know what I mean? Manson was hippies and druggies. Bill was high class. He drove a black Mercedes. He used to wear this mink coat. He was a very classy man. He was not... I don't believe for a minute that he was a hitman. I think he got wrapped up into a bad situation. He was working for the security agency, just doing his job. His whole thing is protect people, not kill people. I don't know how this went down. What I think is maybe Lanny set him out to get back what was hers, and maybe he wouldn't give it up.
Now, you met Charles Manson?
No, when I was younger, Spawn Ranch was real close to my house. I grew up in Chatsworth.
Okay.
Well, Beverly Hills and Chatsworth, both places. My parents split up, and my mother and I later moved. But yeah, when I was young, and Spawn
Did you ever
Ranch
meet Tex Watson?
Well, when I was really young, we used to go over there, and George, I think is his name, the old guy that owned the ranch.
Okay.
George Spawn is a real old guy, real nice guy. And I just remember going over there when I was like 6 years old and, watching him make the movies and stuff. And I remember a bunch of hippies hanging out there. And there was Kathy's, and there was a Ruthie, and she had like a little boy. It was a couple of years younger than me. And then later on, I remember reading about this Manson thing, and I looked at the pictures, and I went, oh my God, I knew the Manson family. So that's the connection.
Okay, but what do you call it? Tex Watson was like an Army Ranger. He was Special Forces type of guy too. He was clean cut, had a crew cut, just looked just like what's his name?
Yeah, but he hung out with Mentzer. They're a bunch of, hippies, homeless people. Bill wasn't homeless. I mean, it was night and day.
Well, okay, but, okay.
Yeah.
They actually weren't homeless either. But the thing is, because, Manson was part of a escort service, and he lived in the Beach Boys' house there, Dennis Wilson's house,
Yeah, but they were a bunch of druggies.
Well,
they were popping LSD and doing all kinds of weird stuff. Bill wasn't weird. He was definitely not weird. Like David Berkowitz. He was not. And Bill would have nothing to do with Mr. Berkowitz.
Well, okay, but do you know that the Son of Sam cult, the Process Church of the Revelation, they used to hang out at Studio 54. They knew very elite people in New York City, the Crispos and all kinds of people, and very high.
Berkowitz used to go to Studio 54?
I think Berkowitz was at Studio 54 a couple of times, but part of that cult, the Process Church, definitely were part of the Studio 54 crowd, and involved in Mr. Real Estate was a very powerful real estate guy in New York City. I some of the name Patty Smythe, like a lot of these people, and Mapplethorpe. These were elite New York types, the same types of people who would need bodyguards and stuff like that. Just as with all kinds of connections to Larry Flint, So. I understand that you and Tony Spurl have this theory that because Bill Mentzer was into health and he was a former Marine, that he could not possibly be associated with you because you have a picture of these other people as being sort of a...
Yeah, I just, it's how you just know when you...
Not as well organized as you think they might have been.
I slept with the man. You know what I'm saying? I was very close to him. And if there was any kind of indication that he was into something weird like that, I would not have been with him. I only date people that are, respectable people. And Bill came across as a very respectable, well-spoken man, drove a Mercedes. He worked elite. He was not strange or anything. And I wasn't afraid to be alone with him.
And but Lainey Jacobs as well. She drove a Mercedes, and she was very respectable. She worked in a law office.
She was very cunning. They're night and day.
Okay.
And that's why I have a hard time believing that Bill was going out with Lanny. Where would you hear that?
Oh, Steve Wick talked about it. Many people that I've interviewed about this have talked about that.
And you're sure that he did Lanny?
Yeah, that after the murder they were living together. Yeah.
Yeah. He might have gone out with my girlfriend Terry, but I don't know about Lanny. But okay, if you say so.
Well, I'm taking your statement.
Yeah.
So now,
I mean, certainly, I was young. We were both dating other people. He was a busy guy, and when he'd come pick me up, go have a great time, that kind of thing.
Right. Did you ever read the Maury Terry book?
I did, and I would love to know where he got his sources from. How can you write a book and not know the character? Because what ends up happening is you create this fictional character, and that's what happened. I mean, for example, I think he claims that he got this information from Bill's ex-wife, right? Well, you could talk to my ex-husband, and he would convince everybody that I killed JFK 2 days before I was born. So I would probably disregard it.
Now, did he talk to you about his ex-wife?
No. Mm-mm.
I believe you got some of this information too from Bill Ryder.
About what?
About Mentzer.
Just about the murder. That's the only thing I wanted to know. I needed to know that part because for years I couldn't make sense of it. You know, when the book first came out, remember, I was very young. I'm reading this stuff, and I didn't know what to think. You know, it kind of freaked me out. And then, of course, I've gotten older now, and now I realize, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Now I know, and I wanted to know about that particular murder, and Tony verified that there was other people, and so that's where I don't know. I have a hard time believing, as I said earlier, that two guys are going to be, well, first of all, how can you shoot, unless they're passing the gun around, they're each taking 3 shots at the guy. The crime scene just doesn't match. Are they just standing around while one guy's doing it? Why are both, what is the involvement? And where's the proof? Where's the fingerprints? Why were the prints wiped clean?
Well, let me ask you a question. Like what background do you have that you would be able to analyze a crime scene like that and make a judgment?
Well, a lot of police officers, detectives, and I guess maybe just from them,
Okay, we're getting
sharing information.
Only got a couple of minutes left. What do you want to leave us with?
Well, just basically, I felt it was my duty to just confirm what Tony was saying and just tell the real Bill. That's all I'm doing. Just telling you about Bill Mentzer, the person he is, and I can't wait for his book to come out, and I hope someday he speaks out. And I am trying to get an on-camera interview. If he will grant it, hopefully people can meet him. Okay?
And what do you call it? Bill, Tony has put you in touch with, he's given you Bill Mentzer's address in prison, that kind of stuff, right? I
have asked for it. I hope that he gets it to me soon. I will be moving, fairly soon, and I'm not sure where I'm going. So I hope to get in touch. I'm going to try to get to Lancaster. I would love to go see him. So... Okay. I feel that after 28 years, somebody should come forward because I'm the only person that could have testified, and I am now doing it on air before the world to say that he didn't commit that one murder and the other one is questionable, and he's serving a life prison sentence. And I'm sorry that this why he pleaded. Tony said he ran out of money and he just wanted to stay safe, and so that's what I can leave you with is it's an unknown.
Okay. And keep in mind too that all the information that Tony gets is from Bill. And Tony's only known him for like the past 5 or 6 years or something like that. It hasn't been a lifelong friendship either. He didn't know him when all this was going on.
He didn't know him?
No. From what he said on our show, if you listen to my show, he said that they worked at the same places and he knew of him, but they didn't start talking about all this stuff until after he contacted him when he was already in prison.
Okay. I thought that they were friends before that. That's interesting.
Well, maybe he was, but that's not what he told me,
Huh. Well, he must have met him. He knew about him, so I don't know where he would have gotten his information, but he described him personally. I don't know.
Well, what he described on the show was that they worked the same bodyguard events at these parties.
Yes, but see, none of that has come out in the books, that he worked with celebrities and all that. None of that. The real story is actually more interesting than what was written in the books. When I listen to the show, Steve Wick saying, talking about the characters, it would make a great movie. I hope somebody makes it someday. So, the truth, though, not the lies, the truth.
Okay. All right, Kathleen, Dearinger, thank you so much. Have a safe trip. I know you're taking off. Anything else comes up, you think of something else you want to relate to us, get a hold of me, okay?
Yes, as soon as I talk to Bill, I'll tell you what I find out. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.